Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. We talk all things cozy personal finance here. So if this is your jam, make sure to stay tuned. So today we will be budgeting my January 16th paycheck, but a couple quick things before we get into it. Number one, there will be a giveaway at the end of this video, so make sure to stay tuned if you would like to enter. And two, I went a little MIA, and the beginning part of this video, I'm just going to be talking a little bit about that. So if that's not something that's your speed, please feel free to fast forward to this timestamp for the actual budgeting portion of the video. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you've been with me for a little bit, you've known that your girl has went a little MIA. I am going to talk a little bit about it, but we won't get too deep into it. But there were a couple of things going on that have kept me from posting regularly, but we are back on track. So happy to be back and happy to be able to kind of get back into my routine after things have been a little off routine. I will say that I was still budgeting. I was still doing my thing behind the scenes. It was just the posting piece that I wasn't getting to. And one of those things was just my mindset and the headspace that I was in at the time. I think I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to family gatherings and holidays and stuff like that. The emotions were running wild on top of just a lot of pressure that I was putting on myself, some loss, and just a lot of different changes and things happened that this holiday season, I'm not gonna lie, felt really heavy for me. And I think everybody around me knew that or could see that. Just to honor that, I didn't want to show up in this space and not give my all or put out content that I'm not proud of or isn't authentically me. So that was number one. And number two, I did at the end of the year, or the end of last year, I did go on a trip to New Orleans, which was absolutely amazing. To this day, I'll see a TikTok or like a movie about somebody in New Orleans and I'm just like, damn, I need to go back. So I did enjoy myself. I had a great time. That happened on a pay week, so then I couldn't post because I was away. And then at the end of the trip and when I got back, I had the flu. So your girl was sick. And if you follow me on TikTok, you did hear my voice and that one TikTok where I'm like, I'm coming back, which my voice sounded significantly better than how it was sounding when I was like in the middle of being sick. I was like losing my voice, all the things. I will say that my symptoms weren't as bad as some people that I was seeing online, so I'm very grateful for that. But I feel like overall too, with the mental space that I was in, I feel like other different problems were starting to manifest and come up in my body physically. One of those was that like I strained my eye, which apparently was dry eye. I think a lot of that was just a lot of working and trying to prepare for paid time off and stuff like that and make sure that I had all my ducks in a row. But yeah, so there was quite a few different things going on, I will be honest, and I wasn't in the right headspace, but we are feeling a bit better and I miss you guys and I miss doing this. So I decided to come back and we are going to figure it out as we go. But I do miss being in this space and sharing this information. And if it helps one person, like, I'm grateful. So here we are back. But throughout this time, we actually hit a couple of milestones and met some goals, which was super nice, which hopefully I'll share a video about that and what that looks like and what those were. But one of them is leading to our giveaway later on in the video, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and get into our budget for this paycheck. Now, January is one of those months that we get paid 3 times this month because we do get paid every other week. So January is a 3-pay month. So that's what you'll be seeing when I do get into my budget. Now, starting off, you know I always have to start off with some goals. Normally, this would be done for the first paycheck of January, but your girl was sick. So we're just gonna skip over to the second one and also just talk about January as a whole here on this budgeting video. First things first, we are gonna get into our monthly goals. And the first one is to restart my holiday savings. So for last year, I had AI come up with a random savings challenge for me. I told AI how much money I wanted to save, and I told them I get paid 26 times a year. Can you split it up? And it gave me a plan to save what I needed to save. And I ended up meeting that goal last year. I was able to save the money that I wanted to save, which was amazing because it was for Christmas and the holidays, and it was able to cover all of the gifts that I needed to get, all the supplies I needed to get. I actually ended up buying a new Christmas tree with that money as well because my old Christmas tree died on me. And it was able to cover any sort of like holiday outings as well, or if I was bringing anything to any festivities, it was able to cover that. And I had a little bit extra, so I think that number was a good number. I will be aiming to save that number again this year, but we're just restarting it. I feel like that was a great plan for me, but I do need to make sure that I am taking out the money from my account, like physical cash, and putting it away somewhere in my savings book. So I feel like when my money's in a high yield savings account, there's more opportunity for temptation, and normally I don't touch those high yield savings accounts unless there's like an emergency or something like that. But again, there is opportunity for temptation, and I felt like when I was pulling out the physical cash last year, that was what was helping me to make sure that I meet that goal. So I'm going to continue doing that, and I'm going to restart my savings for this year that comes up, and I've already started. So for the first paycheck of January, I already had an amount that I'm saving. This paycheck, I have another one, and then the third paycheck, I have another amount to save. So I just pre-plucked the amounts for January just so I can pull together my budget for this month and see what that looks like. But we did restart that, so I can go ahead and give myself a little check mark here. And then the next goal was to refresh my dashboard for the new year. So I do sell my dashboard that's on the screen here. I do sell it on Etsy, and it needed a little bit of a refresh. So I made sure to do that, and that is available on Etsy now, the newest version on there for you if you are interested in that. But we did get that done. Another monthly goal was to start a giveaway, and that we are doing as well, which again, I'll talk about later on in this video, so we'll skip over that. Another one was to send $400 to my emergency fund. I talked about this in the past, but I really want to start building up my emergency fund more. I think I've just kind of been coasting on like a smaller amount, at least a smaller amount than what I want in there. I've been kind of coasting on that. Genuinely want to be prepared if there is an emergency, if something happens. So I'm slowly trying to build up this account more and more so that I do have more of a safety blanket just in case something happens. So I would like to send $400 to the emergency fund this month because of that. And my last goal, these are kind of more so like posting goals and budget with Chelsey goals than financial, but the last goal was to start posting regularly again. Now I know at one point I was posting like 2 times a day on TikTok and, you know, the once a week on YouTube. Baby steps. So I don't think we're gonna go all the way there. I think that was contributing a little bit to burnout because it was just constantly trying to find ideas. So I don't think we'll be posting that frequently, but I do want to post consistently. We're gonna baby step our way into it and hopefully achieve that one as well for January. Now moving on to income for this month. Again, we get paid 3 different times this month, and the first 2 paychecks have been $22.69. I anticipate that the third one will be $22.62, but there's a chance it might be $22.69 as well. My paychecks have kind of been all over the place. I'm not really sure. And then we also have some rollover money. So I did have some rollover money from the last paycheck that I used for this time around budgeting. And then even the paycheck before that, I had some rollover money. So that came out to $193. Oh, almost $193. And whatever expense money that I don't spend for this pay period, we're gonna roll it over for the next pay period so that we can use that money to budget as well. And I know it's not technically new income, but for the purposes of making sure that we're making every dollar have a job, we're just going to count it like that just so I can budget it as well. And now moving on to our bills. So for the bills section and for the debt section, because this month is so long and because we have those 3 paychecks, there are going to be some bills and debt payments that will be repeated. So instead of listing them out separately, some of these payments are going to be doubled instead. So for example, my Apple storage, that's something that came out from that first paycheck, and it's going to come out from the 3rd paycheck as well because of the time frame of the 3rd pay period. So that was doubled. My Oura Ring subscription was doubled on here, and I think there's one debt payment that is doubled on here as well, one of the credit cards that I'm paying. So just in case you see this and you're like, this doesn't look right, or this is not normally the amount she spends on this, that's probably why. So just wanted to preface and say that. But as far as bills go, so for the last couple of months, I was seeing that there was a couple of subscriptions, bills that would come out of my account that I wasn't necessarily budgeting for just because honestly, I forgot about them. So like Linktree and the Panera Sip Club, stuff like that. And so this year I was like, nope, that's enough of that. We've obviously noticed that these are 2 things that are frequently coming up and we should make sure that we're budgeting for them. That I then added onto here. So the Sip Club is on here and Linktree is on here, which for a couple of months they've kind of just been coming out of my expense money, but now I am fully budgeting for them and accounting for them. Not that they're absolutely necessary, but if I am paying for them, I should be budgeting for them. Now for my car insurance, I normally split that payment up. So there are several bills actually that I split in half because normally I'm paid twice per month. So I'll split them in half so that it seems more feasible. So like mortgage, I still do that for. And then Wi-Fi, I used to do that for. And also my car insurance. And now I'm testing paying the full car insurance amount on the pay period that it's due. We're testing this out. If I don't like it, we'll just split it up again like we used to. With that being said, and how the payments landed so far, instead of the $151 that I was budgeting for the car insurance, we then ended up just needing to pay $74 because I paid a portion of it, I think at the end of the year. I think that's how that ended up. I'm not really sure. And then our lovely electric bill, I'm not even gonna get started because if you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know how I feel about them. They're like my Dinkelberg a little bit, and we're at $180 this month, which I guess makes a little bit more sense based off of, you know, holiday decor and stuff like that, having that on longer. Also, I've been having issues with my dryer. I've been having long-standing issues with my dryer, which means I'm using it for longer times. But apparently the way the dryer is installed and where the dryer is installed in my house, it's not working for the dryer anymore. So I originally wanted to replace the dryer, but then I was like, no, let's see if we can get the dryer vent serviced. Maybe there's a clog somewhere. Maybe there's this and that. So I don't exactly know what the issue is because I've got it serviced twice and we're still having issues. So that means that I am drying my clothes for longer. So if you've had this issue and you know what to do or you've resolved this issue, please let me know, because I'm tired of spending money and not knowing for sure if this is going to be a long-term resolution or not. Like, I don't know what's up with it. So I guess this amount makes sense as far as the electric bill, but I don't like it. And the last change in the bills area, which isn't technically a bill, but I just always struggle with where to put this on my budget. The giving area, because I have that 3rd paycheck, I'm able to give a little bit more. So we did increase that. Normally I try to go for like $50 a month, at least, depending on what the scenario is at that time. We did increase that a little bit here. So now moving on to debt. Again, one of these is doubled, which is the 2nd Discover card, because I got charged for it at the beginning of the month. And then it also falls on that 3rd paycheck as well. So that is the one doubled. Just kidding. Also, my student loan has doubled too. Again, 1st paycheck got charged for it. 3rd paycheck will get charged for it too. So we doubled that. And with that 3rd paycheck, I'm able to make a bigger extra credit card payment. So I'm honestly floored at the number and I'm so grateful. I feel like one thing about me is just, I always preach balance, balance, balance. but I'm just very, very grateful to be in a place where I can live a more balanced lifestyle, but also still feel like I'm attacking my goals and getting to them. I've done some balance transfers in the past, and I'm trying to make sure that I tackle those before the zero interest time frame runs out, and I feel very positive about that and about making that happen. In the next area, we have the expenses, and the expenses are going to be for 3 paychecks. So normally, like, my spending money category is always $150 per paycheck. Now, since we have 3 paychecks of January, it's going to be triple that number. So that's what this looks like here. That's where everything else lies as far as the expenses. Nothing too exciting there. Let's move on to our savings. So the first thing is the challenge, which is just that same savings challenge we had restarted from last year. We're bringing it back into this year. So yeah, I already pre-chose the 3 amounts for each paycheck of January that I'm going to be paying or saving. And that's what that amount comes out to this time. I didn't get any super big numbers this month, but that means that they're coming, and that's scary. So then we have some travel money set aside, and then we also have some events money set aside. So my birthday's coming up, and a lot of my loved ones' birthdays are also coming up too. So I just want to make sure that I am ready for that. And for the emergency fund, I plan so far to put over $600 in my emergency fund, again, with the help of that 3rd paycheck, because normally I'm splitting up my bills or paying my bills in the first 2 paychecks of the month, because that's normally all I get per month. I get paid every other Friday. So with that 3rd paycheck, normally I am able to have more wiggle room and flexibility with what happens to that. Obviously, some bills do fall within that pay period still, so I handle those. And then the leftover money, I really try to send to savings accounts and try to prepare myself. So hopefully we are able to send this full amount to my emergency fund. That would be amazing. Then we have the other field here, and the other field includes health, car maintenance, and personal. So I am going to be adding some money here as well in those respective high yield savings accounts. And last but not least, we have our monthly breakdown visual, and this is what my income looks like split into debt, bills, savings, and expenses for the month. So if you do grab a copy of my dashboard, this will auto-populate for you as you enter in your numbers and your bills and the amounts and all that stuff. It'll auto-populate for you, which is exactly what it did for me when I entered in all of my bills and all those amounts. Alrighty, so that is the budget for January 16th and honestly overall January budget. So one of the milestones that I did hit was having over 200 subscribers on YouTube. Actually, it is 223 as of today, and I am so excited, so stoked. I did not think that I would be getting to that number so fast. It feels fast to me, and I'm so grateful for you all. I think you all are amazing, and I'm so proud of you for even subscribing, for even being curious about these things and wanting to know more about personal finance. I was a person who didn't know anything about personal finance. I was not taught that, and it's no one's fault at all, but it was just something that wasn't something that I learned. And so as I got older, I started to get more and more curious, and that's when I ended up finding some personal finance creators that explained things in ways that made it feel less scary and more feasible, and showed ways to really budget so that you can set yourself up for success. And that was the way that I learned. Now, I'm not a professional by any means, and I still make mistakes, but that's something that I try to be really transparent with you all about too, because there are always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be a bump in the road or something like that, but that's what we try to prepare for. And I think by making sure that balance and giving yourself grace and also not being restrictive are going to be key components to your personal finance journey. I don't like over restriction at all, and that would just never work for me. But again, you have to make it very realistic for yourself and your personal journey, your personal finance, your situation. Just to think that I have 223 friends with me on this journey makes my heart so happy, because I was exactly where you are. We all start somewhere, and I'm so grateful grateful for you all. And to show that gratitude, I am going to be giving away 2 copies of my budget dashboard, which I am using during this video. Obviously, I'm just taking snippets of it, but there is a full dashboard. It is a Google sheet that auto populates all the graphs and facts and figures for you, so you can have visuals and you can see progress on there. If that is something that you're interested in, make sure that you are subscribed to me. Make sure that you like this video, and also please make sure that you comment below what is one of your financial goals for this year, or if you have a New Year's resolution that you are hoping to accomplish. It was so nice being back, so nice talking to you all. I'm so grateful for you all, grateful to be back in this space. If you're interested in more videos like this or shorter form content, I am at Budget with Chelsey on TikTok and Instagram. And if this is something that you want to see more of, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here. If there's something that I'm not touching on that you have a question about, the comment section is where to go for that. But I'm so proud of you. We will talk soon. Bye.